Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Uncharted 1 Brutal Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 2, The Search for El Dorado. I'm not a big fan of saying 1 to the first game when I should just say Uncharted, but then I feel like I should say Drake's Fortune and I don't really want to. It's one of those strange things that I have that's coming out when it comes to the intro of these videos, but this is introducing you to some of the traversal and some of the different mechanics of the game, and these early chapters are very quiet. The first, I think, 3 chapters, you're not really going to see too much that's going to really introduce you to the difficulty, and it's not going to be too taxing, but there's still some interesting times to be had and some interesting things to do. The platforming and the jumping on this game is very different to the games that followed it, because of course it was the first one, and it's a little raw and it's not quite as polished. I had more difficulties with the platforming in this game than I did with the combat, because I don't know what the original Uncharted felt like, because I never played it other than a demo and I really didn't like it. I've only played this remastered version, and I hear that Blue Point actually standardized aiming in each of the games so that they all feel very similar. They also introduced grenades in this, because I believe in the original you had to swap to grenades to use them like you do in Gears of War, and in this game you can now use them kind of ambiently. I don't think they're that great in this game, but it's nice to see that they added that feature. The aiming and the shooting in this game is really close to Uncharted 2. It feels a lot like Uncharted 2, and Uncharted 2's shooting is probably my favourite, so through extension of how those systems interact with each other, I really like this game as well. And when I played the demo way back when it first came out, I didn't like it. I thought that the platforming was lacking because I'd come off of games like Prince of Persia's, and the platforming in those games was so tight and so polished that it worked really well. And then when I came to this, I just didn't think it was as good or as flexible or as fun. And then, of course, the shooting happened, and it was a ton of dudes coming at me. It wasn't very, smart. It wasn't very interesting of a scenario. It was just a bunch of dudes in vests and bandanas shooting AKs, and I killed them, and I didn't think the aiming felt great. I thought it was pretty lackluster, to be fair, because I'd come off of games where I'd been playing third-person shooters for a very long time, and I was used to Gears, where everything feels really accurate, even if, a lot of the enemies are large targets and very bullet-spongy. But I'd come off of games where I was used to feeling the bullets hit and feeling people go down, and in this game I would put my reticle on people and the bullets would miss, and it reminded me of Kane and Lynch. And I don't even know if Kane and Lynch was out at that time, but Kane and Lynch, infamously for me, was a game I detested because I loved the idea of it, but when I put my gun on you and I shoot and it doesn't hit you, I don't want to play your game anymore. And the cover system in Kane and Lynch was fucking hilarious, because he would literally lay on top of the cover and still get shot. Because, of course, when you're going to cover, you're meant to be safe, but instead he'd stick his head up, because that's just stupid cover. And there were a lot of parts of this game that I really, really didn't like based on that demo, so I never touched it, and I never went back. That was a mistake, although I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think what Blue Point have done is that they've made a game that I really like. They've tweaked it, they've brought it up to date, and I don't know how much of an effect they've had. This might be 100% placebo, but I really, really enjoyed this. And I enjoyed it because I like the combat on Uncharted. Uncharted 2 and 3 have a lot of downtime, they have a lot of puzzles, they have a lot of traversal sequences, they have a lot of narrative moments. Well, they didn't quite have the formula yet, and they didn't quite have that diversification, so this game gets criticised quite a lot because there's a lot of combat. It's kind of 75% combat, and then the remainder percentage is the stuff that they would later on increase to about 50-50. And again with Uncharted 3 has even more interesting pacing and even more instances of moments where you're not shooting things. I like to shoot things, and I play these games to shoot things. The platforming is fun and it's eventful, all the other stuff is great, but I come here to kill things. It's what I enjoy, and this game enables me to kill things for the longest amount of time, and I think that's why I like it. And it's funny, isn't it? One of the criticisms of this game is one of the main reasons I had such a fun time with it. And that's why this game is so tricky on Brutal too, because there's way more combat to survive. And not only that, but this game's the trickiest of the Brutals because of how it works. If you've played the second and the third game, or even the fourth game, you are used to a level of quality that this game just doesn't quite have in some of its mechanics. And that's not me saying that the game is bad, or me trying to denigrate it in any way, it's just honesty, guys. There are times in this game where you will get shot in cover. And I'm not talking about Uncharted 4 shot in cover where you stood behind it, I'm talking when you are in cover. You can get hit. And it wasn't a dude who was above you, it wasn't a dude who was behind you, it was just a dude. Because for some reason, the enemy's so accurate and your hitboxes, it extends for whatever reason in a funny way that's not immediately apparent, and you just sometimes get hit. It doesn't happen often, but it happens enough to be like, I just died in cover, this is a problem. And not only that, but the enemies rush you on this game, and I have no idea why they changed that. In Uncharted 2 and 3, the enemies kind of rushed, but not like they do in this game. In the 4th game, they had an enemy that was specifically it's not even a word, designed to charge you. He was a douchebag who grabbed you and broke your neck. I hate that man, I hope he dies. In this game, it seems like any enemy can feasibly rush you if you do something to piss them off. And a lot of the times, they'll even declare it with an audio file. So they'll say stuff like, I'm going in! And they just run at you. And in this game, if you don't know someone's coming and they blitz around cover, you are dead. There's no, oh, I just reacted and murdered him. You do not have the faculties to do it all half the time. You have to know. If you don't know, you're dead. And everybody who's played Brutal on Uncharted 1 knows this. If you're in cover and you're waiting for dudes and you can't see anybody and all of a sudden a dude just runs past you, you're dead. Because they strafe you down and you die in 2 bullets, and it's the quickest deaths I've ever had in a game, probably. You have to get so lucky to survive them. But do you know where this game is wonderful? You know, if you put a bullet in them, they will stop. They'll dance. They'll do a little pre-programmed shuffle. Whatever it is, wherever you shot them or however they respond, they will always respond to your bullets. You know, in Uncharted 3, they run through your bullets like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Raw Deal. They don't give a shit. And it makes no sense. In this game, if you put a bullet in somebody and you know what they do, you can move your aimer to where they move to, put another bullet in them, and they'll dance again. Once you put 4 or 5 bullets in them, they're dead. If you get a headshot, 1-shot kill. If you're using the AK, 50 shots, because it's a piece of shit. Like, it works so well, considering this game came out in 2007? That's like PS2 days. There were still games coming out on the PS2 at that time, because the PS2 is a massively successful console, but that's amazing when you think about what they achieved with this game. And once again, guys, I don't know how much of this was changed to be like the newer games, courtesy of Bluepoint with the grenades and the aimings and things, but I think that that's wonderful, because it gives the player so much power. It gives you 100% knowledge of what the enemy is going to do when you do something, and it's invaluable to surviving. Additionally, in this game, there's an enemy who's essentially just kind of like a fat black dude who's got a shotgun, and that enemy is one of the most dangerous in the game. He does these weird dodges that are light speed. They're so fast. This dude can move way faster than you would think, considering all his bloody love handles. But he's designed to put pressure on you and rush you, and he has a shotgun that kills you in 1 shot, essentially, at decent ranges. Once he gets out of the range, it won't, but for the most, he is a one-hitter quitter. And you do not ever want to challenge them unless you get that first shot. You get that first shot and you've won. And additionally, he dies in 1 bullet, which is really, really fair. I think the shotgunners in this game are the best they've ever been, because they're legitimately scary, and they're also really, really fair. They don't have shit tons of armor, they're just some dude belly dancing with a shirt off. And that's a really fun mechanic, I think. Combine that with the ability for enemies to rush you, you have all the ingredients needed for a challenging third-person shooter, and I have no idea why they dropped some of these mechanics, because I think they work really well, and they make the game consistently challenging. Another reason why this game is the hardest of the series, I believe, is because when you get to, I think it's mission 13, the enemies are going to get an upgrade, and you'll notice because they're all wearing sunglasses. And there's this dude with sunglasses and a hat who I think he's using either a Beretta M92 or whatever he uses. This fella kills you in 1 bullet, regardless. Doesn't matter. He just kills you. And I don't understand why that got past the balancing, but it did. So in a difficulty where you die in 2 bullets, you now have an enemy who's deadly accurate, who's very frequent, who kills you in 1. And that is literally one of the main reasons why this game is tougher than the other ones, because you've never died in 1 bullet outside of very specific instances, and it was never just, you know, the level 1 scrub who turns up all the time, which it is in this game. Combine that with being able to get shot in cover, combine that with whenever you use grenades, Nathan's hitbox extends so people can shoot you while you're in cover. There's a whole host of fantastic pitfalls to fall into in this game with how it works on Brutal. It's kind of crazy. And then of course there's the ammunition. The ammunition on Brutal is the scarcest it's ever been. This game gives you a mechanic that will enable you to salvage those moments and get ammunition by using that special combo. Sometimes you can't always do that, so in this particular game, you want to probably use the reload trick way more than you did in the others. And if you're not aware of what the reload trick is when you have a gun, if you can find another of your gun on the floor, don't pick it up because you'll only get like 2 bullets. If you can find someone else's gun, swap to a different gun, and then come back for the other reload you could have got, you will get a full clip. And all it means is if there is 2 different guns on the floor, one that you have and one that you don't have, you can always guarantee a full clip. And if you were to, to play for maximum efficiency, you will never be picking up ammunition. You will always be maximizing your ammo count. And it's a very clever way of playing, but you're not going to see me do it too much because I'm kind of stupid. And I just kind of like to play and just get on with it. But it is invaluable if you're struggling with ammunition. Additionally, you can use the special combo to get double bullets, which is a fantastic design choice. That's the end of the level though, guys. As I've mentioned, lots of exposition here, lots of downtime, but it picks up quick and it picks up tough. Chapter 4, one of the hardest in the game. It is literally going to test your ability to do this in the best possible way and the worst possible way. So thank you for watching, and you take care now.